and welcome to One Thing for April. I'm Robert Walkowicz, your 2021 CAR Chair, and I'm joined today by the fabulous Scott Peterson, CAR's General Counsel. Welcome, Scott.
Hello, Robert. Fabulous is a big word, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Scott and I are excited to talk briefly today about the fact that April is Fair Housing Month. We all take mandatory ethics every 3 years, and as realtors, it's important for us to take time to consider what this means more often in our daily practice. If you're not aware, NAR has an excellent tool called Fairhaven. It's a new online fair housing simulation training for realtors that uses the power of storytelling to help members identify, prevent, and address discriminatory practices in real estate. And it's inspired by real stories. NAR is offering this as a benefit at no cost to members. This simulation also counts toward earning the At Home with Diversity designation. There'll be some links to that kind of down below here. Scott, I was wondering if you could tell us what you see or hear most often that pertains to fair housing or discrimination, and what we as realtors should be doing better.
Sure. Well, thanks, Robert. And yeah, I would agree. I know you've done the Fairhaven module, and the feedback I've had on it is outstanding. I've gotten through a little bit of it and got pulled away on something, but it is definitely worth checking out because this is an important and increasingly hot topic, as you guys certainly know. One of the things, I mean, fortunately in Colorado, we have a very narrow, I would say, overall problems with fair housing related complaints. And that I think is consistent both at the Colorado Civil Rights Division, which is who enforces fair housing complaints at the state level for HUD, as well as any state fair housing issues, as well as in our ethics process that we see, in addition to what I think we would see at the regulatory level with the Division of Real Estate, or questions I get on the hotline. Far in most areas of the protected classes, I would say, far and away, the number one question that I get, an issue that I see related to fair housing is in relation to emotional support animals, and with regard to property owners, property managers, professional property managers. A lot of realtors own their own property and manage their own properties. And anytime they're interfacing with a tenant, there can be some real complications and at times frustrations related to request for accommodation on an emotional support animal. So far and away, in terms of fair housing issues in the state of Colorado, they're focused, at least in terms of protected class grievances, on the sort of disability classes there. And so that's a good thing in many respects, because we don't see the allegations in relation to race and religion and creed and some of the other things. And as the Fairhaven example takes through, some real legitimate concerns that really are much more common, I think, in other areas of the country. So I think that's a good thing for us. And but with that said, the emotional support animal concerns is an ongoing problem. I'd say it's in the top probably, I don't know, 15 or 20% of the total volume of hotline calls that we get in terms of any specific category. And I'll point out on that note, they're going to attach at the bottom of this video or in the Facebook post a PDF that was some HUD guidance. HUD is the federal agency that oversees fair housing. And they issued this about a year ago. And it's a really good, helpful document. It's long. I think it's like 20 pages long, but it's a really good, helpful document with respect to kind of walking a property owner through a request for reasonable accommodation in a fair housing situation. So anyhow, Robert, I think that's the probably top area that I would refer to.
That's fantastic, Scott. I did have one other question, regarding our ethics. What do you hear about 10.5 in the revision?
Yeah, thanks for asking. That's been a really hot topic and a lot of interest among the realtor community throughout the state, and I think throughout the entire country. I am very happy to say, and CAR administers professional standards for 29 out of the 31 local associations in the state. And so we really are the primary clearinghouse for almost the entire state of Colorado with regard to ethics complaints. And I'm happy to say, Robert, that since this was passed and made effective by NAR back in late October, early November, we at CAR have not seen a single complaint related to the new standard of practice 10.5, which again, I think is a really, really good thing.
That's awesome, Scott. I knew you would have some great information to share with us, as always. And because you've been so helpful, maybe I'll encourage people to maybe throw pies at someone else. There is a link in the YouTube notes about a webinar on fair housing in June that CAR is hosting. Also, many local associations are doing special training this month, so be sure to ask your local board or association if they have anything planned. That's it for this month. Thanks for being here, Scott. Hope to see you next month. Until then, be good to one another.
Thanks, Robert. Anytime. Take care.